guys, and the other guys are they're pretty chilled usually. They don't want to complain all that much. They're kind of both of them in sleeping state right now, the way that cats you so often find them, of course, like eating, play, run around, hunting, and sleeping, like the way big cats do, I guess, right? Tigers, lions, all kind of good stuff. So, hey, listen, before we get into the whole Christmas thing on a formal basis here, Three Eye Atlas, I know you've got some stories to share as well as far as the wind you were talking about during the pre-show, uh, via where you're located there in Fort
Yeah,
Collins. Go ahead.
yeah, this business about it is completely nonsensical. They say, oh, it's going to be going by the Earth. Well, going by the Earth happens to be further away than the sun currently.
It's really
That
showing up.
Atlas thing is farther from us than the sun, and yet it's passing by the Earth. There's some element of black ops deception. There is a serious false flag going on right now with that. And that yesterday it was supposed to have gotten rid of something black, and it's orbiting the Earth. They couldn't even get to the Earth.
According to
It's taken all this time in order to get.
Who's making these reports or claims?
That's well, that's the whole thing. I'd have to look up his name here. Just a second.
Here's Tracy Joy Steele coming to us via
the
Facebook.
We have all these experts.
Tracy Joy Steele over. Thanks, Tracy. Good stuff.
We have all these experts claiming how extraordinary it is. It is, but it's on. It like I said, it's further away than the sun. And then all of a sudden, yesterday, it detaches something, and somehow it instantly goes from where it is to orbiting the Earth. That is a psyop. That is a red flag. So huge it ain't even funny. And again, this is as close as pass to the Earth.
Well, I guess we're going to see it starting today.
It doesn't make any sense.
Throughout the course of, we'll see, I guess, won't we? I think there's more to it than meets the eye myself. I don't know about this black ops thing so much as the powers that be are really there from the standpoint of not wanting to report on it clearly, to perhaps explain to people what it really is, and that Avi, I think it's Avi Loeb. Is that the scientist? He's a colleague, essentially, of Michio Kaku and others, of course, very high profile astro.
Michio Kaku is freaking out. He's the one that's giving out the most misinformation here.
But hang on, no. But are you watching are these AI versions of Michio Kaku? You got to watch out for that stuff, man.
I don't think so.
Well, double check on that, because I got sucked in. I got totally sucked in, and with one of his videos, and it was just total AI nonsense. It wasn't him. It was just like a deep fake.
Well, again, they're deliberately mashing this up. YouTube has, they've optimized all of them that is as weird as possible, as misleading as possible. First of all, let's see here. I have it right here. I pulled it up.
Yeah. You're talking about the algorithms? YouTube's algorithms?
No, I'm talking about the actual position in our solar system.
Well, it's pretty damn close right at this stage, I guess.
At 137,000 miles an hour.
Uh-huh. Okay.
137,000 miles per hour is how fast this thing is moving. And it is roughly 270 million miles away from the Earth. It's further than the sun. So
Mhm.
how is it dropping off all this neat equipment and stuff right on top of it? It's impossible. This here is a psyop,
What kind of
and it is
equipment?
triggering people.
What equipment?
Well, they said that thing broke into three pieces, and the three pieces joined into a triangle and is now continuing on.
Who
And they also said yesterday that there was something that had dislodged from it and is currently orbiting the Earth.
who said
It
this?
couldn't got from there to here
Well, who said
in that
this?
amount of time.
Yeah. So
Well,
see, Peru, like there's different. If you look at AI, it is trending on X right now, and the pictures that I saw look to be quite really quite something. It was a very bright celestial phenomenon, whatever it is, whether a comet or who knows exactly what the deal is. Although there are some real major peculiarities that the experts in the field either are trying to talk about and to emphasize, or for that matter, downplay and ultimately, obfuscate. And where I find obfuscation present at any time, I'm often quite that sets off a lot of, for me, like red flags. If I see
well, their behavior
obfuscation.
is like their behavior is like it passed between the Earth and the Moon. That's what they're. That's what the, presumption is if you don't take a look at the actual data. And I agree that it might be doing some strange things, but it has nothing to do with Earth. And if it has any interest in Earth, it certainly missed us. I mean, it's completely on the other side of the solar system. So, how it's dropping things off to circle around the Earth and all this other stuff that they're claiming. Heck, by the time any of this is fruition, it'll be out of the solar system.
Oh, I guess we'll see. So, I mean, you could be right, but it's going to take a little time to 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 clearly prove or demonstrate who was correct one way or the next. But once again, my money is on the fact that just the number of peculiarities that have been and inconsistencies in the sense of the phenomenon itself, how the way it ranks and its behavior also, and its composite structure, that it truly is. It's unlike anything that humanity to this point
Well,
has witnessed.
when they first started this mess, okay, first of all, it does follow some very ingenious solutions. One, is it easier in order to make a tin can and go to the moon worried about micro asteroids and stuff like that than it is in order to grab a passing meteor? Okay, drill a hole in it, shove a rocket up its rear, and now we have something that has survived millions of years, okay, against all these micrometeors and stuff like that. And we have a safe place in order to do. We could put a mile between us and real space if we do that. However, when did we do that? Now, when this first started out, I thought that the civilization prior to the one that we have now, approximately 15,000 years ago, may have sent this out, and now this is returning at a unusual level of technology. Because if we take a look at what the lore is, most of these um, aliens and things like that, they have faster than light technology. Why is this thing clunking around in normal space? You
Mm-hmm.
see? And 15,000 years ago, if they managed to make this level, it would be reasonable in order to believe that they also had faster than life or faster than light technology as well. So why is this anything to do with anything?
Mm.
Um, there's so much dogma that they built on top of this that it doesn't make any sense. It just simply came from somewhere. And here's the other thing: it came from near where the wow signal came from back in the 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Um, that's,
77,
you know,
77. That's what Robert Morningstar has been
right.
talking about too. The wow
So
signal vicinity.
this is not lining up with anything that they're saying. It's not anywhere near the Earth, and astronomers, amateur astronomers, has caught this thing doing some things, but everything that I find that is mechanically something that is credible from a telescope, I test it, and it turns out to be AI generated. And
Oh,
again,
really? Hmm.
now you can take portions of videos as long as I think you got like a 20 megabyte upload. You can take a short of these videos, go to Chat GPT, and they have an AI detector. And you throw it in the AI detector, and none of these are passing. None of them. It's all AI. And then what's really funny about it is you put anything from NASA in the, in the AI detector, and it goes off too. You know, like images of Mars or images of Venus and stuff like that. Mars, the images that we do have of Mars shows an atmosphere. Okay, and back in the 70s, they claimed it didn't have an atmosphere at all; that it was a vacuum.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh, you
then they turned
sure?
around
Yeah.
and they used a parachute in order to land the Viking or the what was that? It wasn't the Viking, was it? No, it was well, the probes that we put on Mars. Then they use a parachute in order to do that. Parachutes don't work in vacuums, you know. So why is all of this deception going on with NASA?
Never a straight answer, right? And it NASA. Back to the campaign uh, as it currently stands. Thank you for that. I mean, I threw that one out there to you, obviously, and it's great that we could get some quality commentary. Tracy Joy Steele seems to have appreciated your insights there in a big way, so that's good to see. Uh, Picture just speaking of good to see, we just had Kaiser Schuff. Well, I didn't get a close look at what kind of beer he was nursing there, but um, someone who had been trying to connect with us here and get on the show, and I guess just doesn't have the technological wherewithal to do so. But we'll maybe work it out one of these days. Just some people always it's having to, you know, we've got enough troubles here ourselves. Always happy to lend a hand, of course, where we can, but uh, sometimes things are pretty not that complicated, you would think, but even still, people do have trouble with them. So little tweaks, or the even just the inability to find the mic button on the VoIP setup. So there's a shot there of the late great Rob Reiner. My God, his meathead progressive politics and child rearing philosophy ultimately got the best of him. Unfortunately, very much a cautionary tale. I would argue. So what do we got there? We got something coming in. We're gonna have to. I think that's probably there. We go. We muted out Alan. Some almost sound like a little 3-eye atlas bleeding through from behind the scenes there. So who knows really what that was? But a number of comments coming our way here. So we should try to get to them as best we can. Tracy Joy asking what's Skype called now. It's
We'd love
Teams.
some questions about that.
Yeah, it's Teams.
I'd love some questions about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when you're not talking, just to mute out. I'm not sure we're bleeding through with some pretty wonky background
That is a dog
noise.
chewing on an indestructible bone that he's actually
No.
partially got destructed.
No, it's a little more than that. It's an electronic kind of some sort of frequency deal. You'll be able to hear it with the playback. So, but Tracy, it's Skype, formerly known as Skype, is now called Teams. And what else is she talking about here? Gemini. It looks like she follows these issues quite closely. So Gemini also, it's a good system for Pix info. Free too, 30 days. I'm not sure what that is. Gemini is maybe that's a chat GPT type setup. I guess Alan, you probably know about that. I suppose. Oh, I think it's Google's version of Chat GPT, isn't it? Gemini, man, that's what she's getting at there. So they can be very believable, she says. Certain systems, it's fun, beneficial, can also be used for bad. Oh yeah, because she's an AI producer, creator. Just as my wife has recently, my wife went through a bunch of training over the past couple of months. She had a job actually in the field teaching, uh, teaching up and coming talent, people how to make the most of the tools at their disposal. So, but now it sounds like she's freelancing. Basically, she's got a little part-time job that she was talking about on her. She was making her way back home here tonight. So, it's something it's outside of my wheelhouse, though, and it is what it is, basically. So great, yeah. Well, go for it, there, Tracy. Download Teams, and tomorrow, actually, if you're interested in, you may be interested in knowing. Tomorrow we'll be kicking things off here. Actually, in a little over 12 hours from now, believe it or not, we're going to be launching the next edition of things. And then from there, just the next day in the same sort of time slot. So it'll be 1 p.m., in the afternoon here via the Tokyo and Seoul end of things, while 8 out on the West Coast, 8 p.m. Let's see, tomorrow is Sunday here via South Korea, so that'll be Saturday night, 8 o'clock, the West Coast of the Americas, 11 via the East, and it's a pretty lousy time slot for people wanting to catch us via Europe, as compared to currently where we stand. There's a lot of opportunity there to connect with people who are, probably having lunch right now, actually, via the European continent. So, all right. Yeah, Tracy Joy, she really tripped me out, actually. I'm not sure if you saw these pictures. Maybe you have some of the pictures that that we added to the slideshow, Alan. I think I pointed them out from time to time, where it just left us confused. Like, is that Tracy? Like, I'm really just, and it turns out it's sort of like I think, set us straight on this too, Miss Steele. But it's just like an AI sort of improved AI version of herself, essentially. I guess we could do the same with all of us, right? A better version and better AI version of who we could be. Aren't like an ideal, like almost like not sure about archetype, but prototype. Definitely in this, like a embodiment of something, perhaps that is worth striving toward. emulating, and ultimately becoming before we cast off this all too temporary mortal coil. Already. And by the way, that redhead, she's nobody. For anyone who's wondering, nobody out of viaminds.com. But as far as people in need, because that's one of the questions that you're asking here, Tracy, we got Stephanie so far. Stephanie, Alan, Alan, why don't you talk a little bit about what she's saying now? My mom was like, wait, it's you, but as your mom, I feel it's not right. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Alan, why don't we hear a little bit from you while I kind of look around here and decide whether we're going to do music or maybe take a kind of transition here into a little more Christmas type content, some of the videos that we've ripped over the years, and hear about the weather that hit your area, and then what more was it? You were going to talk about something else on top of that, I believe. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, basically, let's go ahead and get yesterday's news out. We had such high winds here, and I have a RV where I have all my computers, and the
Mm-hmm.
animals stay in that because they're not
Mm-hmm.
allowed in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in my RV yesterday. Everything's fine, except we have anything from 50 to 70-mile-an-hour winds yesterday.
Wow.
Opened up the door, I heard a pop. And it's like, what the heck was that? And right, I went in, I sat down for about a half hour, and all of a sudden everything started getting cold. And it's like, what the heck? I walk out and I go around the bus, and it actually, when I opened up the door, it pressurized the bus and it popped the windshield out of the bus. Completely popped the windshield out of the bus. I couldn't
Mm-hmm.
believe it. And it took me half a day in order to get it back up and put boards in and stuff like that in order to block it.
Mm-hmm.
And I never seen a wind that strong before. I'll be honest with you. Imagine you open the side door of a bus and the pressure in the bus changes so much it pops the window out.
Well, I'll tell you, speaking of the weather, that people have never seen before from the sounds of things, and I could see it coming. And one of the people that we've been in touch with via Gaza, I warned them of the potential use of weather warfare weapons. They're getting hit. They have no shelter, no protection hardly at all. People that have seen the videos, you may have noticed the entire region has basically been razed to the ground. Also, that I guess ultimately Trump and Kirshner, along with their business partners, can
I don't
set
think
up
there's
these.
any active enforcement for the treaty. There is a treaty that is out there that prevents using weather as a weapon.
But,
But unfortunately, we have all of these chemtrails and things like that. They're constantly going on under other disguises, weather control rather than weather manipulation. But
oh yeah.
to be honest with you, all of that chemical put into the air, and if you achieve a certain amount of it, you actually have a magnetic thing where you can actually create a wind wherever you want. You want a tornado, you can influence that. And the use of HARP, and there is a lot more than just HARP out there. There's also the Norway version of it. There's three versions in Russia, and the U.S. is responsible for at least four versions of HARP. One of them is in South America and was, I think, on the news about a year ago that they had something going on there.
This is
So this
Russia.
weather manipulation is absolutely true.
You said
I'm
Russia.
sorry.
Russia.
Yes, Russia has four different active locations, eh, uh, active locations for this, and what they're doing is they're actually pumping energy into the stratosphere, and that energy is interacting with the things that they're putting into the air, these chemtrails. Um, and the mechanics of it is actually pretty simple. Recently, there was a magnetic way of controlling water, and they have contacts, electrical contacts in a row, and if they energize that, it'll actually propel water. Now, if they can do that magnetically, they certainly can do it after they have contaminated the air enough. So, I mean, these things are real. They're practical. They're actually being used. They have been in place since the 50s. And in the 50s, we had a lot of changes. We had changes to our education. Example, it used to be part of the electronics course, mandatory in high school. They have removed that. They removed the study of plasma in high school. Even when you go into college, this information has been skewed to be useless because it has changed the foundation of that education to dogma. And then you're sitting there going out with the wrong framework, the wrong foundation of the science of it, and they're preventing that from being reinvented. It's simple as that. They have changed our education, they have altered our foundations so that in one area of science it makes sense. In another area of science, it's complete dogma. And unfortunately, the solar system, the natural science that we live in, even electricity, I equals E divided by R, is ultimately, even though it's testable, it is ultimately misleading. Yes.
Keep going,
But
man.
I've spent since I was 8 years old, dumping into, and it dawned on me when I was 8, 9 years old that something is wrong with the fundamentals, the foundation. And I have an actual working theory. It's called universal differential. You know, it's based on the fact that all of this math, all of our observations are correct. But if we have the wrong foundations or the wrong perspective in our observation, then none of the information that we're gathering is actually accurate. It's only surface level.
I got that's right. I guess so. Correct. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah.
Well, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people think that electricity travels inside a wire. It doesn't. Electricity does not travel inside of a wire. Okay, it actually travels along the surface in a form of plasma that follows that wire. It's not what people think, and it's not described properly. As soon as you realize that it's a plasma energy that's simply following that wire, and that the insulator helps keep it from jumping off of the wire, that's it. Okay, it's not traveling through the wire. There is an exchange of material. A good example of that is your car battery. Open up your hood. Take a look at which side has most corrosion on it. According to standard electronics, everything moves from the positive to the negative side, except it's the positive side that gets all the junk and stuff like that. Where's this junk coming from? It's coming from the wires, it's coming from everything and collecting this negative side, meaning that we have something moving from the negative to the positive, not from the positive to the negative. And then we split it and we call one a conventional theory and the other not conventional. Well, they're exact opposites. So, how do you determine it from there?
Well, I'm not sure about that, but we've probably, some of us, yourself included, presumably you're familiar with Kuhn's uh, his the paradigm shift phenomenon and scientific, revolutions in science and so forth. That's pretty profound stuff indeed, and I think it's great because the way that science is, as you say, this the so much dogma. It's and it's just it's the new religion essentially. It really is the new religion, and
Well, it's
people
based
are
on it's based on brute force. It's
well,
based on brute force. We're not using
repetition.
anything that is natural. Okay, it is based on brute force. Imagine how much energy is actually in a lightning strike. They claim that we don't
Strong
have zero
stuff
point, we don't
indeed.
have
And
free energy, and yet it's all over the place. The only thing we
oh
have to
yeah,
do is find a neutral or a ground and something that is charged differently, and
well,
we have an immediate um, flow of energy. But they completely ignore that and claim that it's impossible.
Tesla Tesla realized this years ago, of course, and I think you're probably familiar with the famous J.P. Morgan statement regarding his presentation of what could be as far as free energy was concerned. Is that if we can't, I'm not sure if he said tax it necessarily, but if there's put a meter on it, um, forget it. It's not going to fly. It's of no use to us whatsoever. So you can put those ideas to bed back where they came from. I'm
Yeah,
really
this
paraphrasing
goes back to the
anyway now.
protected technology.
Well,
This is
it's the
protected
bottom
technology. It dates
line
back to the
too. It's
Egyptians.
money. You got to have some. Everyone wants a
It
cut
has
of the
to do with,
pie, cut of the action.
well, yeah, if this information was out there, anybody can sit there and set up a small antenna in the yard, create a coil, and be able to get electricity. Now, this electricity they claim is unusable. But if you turn it into an AC wave and then use Tesla's method, which is reinforcing the wave every time it comes by, you can actually get usable electricity. And they have prevented that from being realized for so long by changing, again, the fundamentals.
Yeah,
Here's
yeah,
another
sure.
oxymoron. Now, can energy be destroyed? Answer,
Uh
no.
huh.
Can you convert energy from one form to another? Answer, yes. Where is the loss in the conversion? Well, obviously, if it's being converted and you're losing energy in the conversion, that means that energy can be destroyed, right?
Oh, I don't
There's
know.
two laws that are
Yeah.
in opposite
Uh
of
huh.
each other right there in our foundation.
Yin and yang. Yeah, the as the Matrix tells us, or suggests, it's all binary code. The cosmos is inherently ingrained and operating on the basis of total binary code. So, speaking of buying
I
some
agree
code,
with the holographic universe and everything like that. However, I disagree that it is anything other than absolutely 100% real. It is not artificial. You want to know how I judge that? When I poke myself with a knife, it hurts, and that pain is real. So convincing people that it's all just a holograph and don't worry about life or death or anything like that is ridiculous. But again, that again goes with this dogma of people being told improper things and destroying otherwise well-known knowledge because it's being replaced with dogma. It's being replaced with AI substitutes.
uh-huh. Yeah, well, that's the whole thing regarding surrounding the faux singularity that they've been, working behind the scenes and unpacking, unveiling, and you know, uh, having implemented, throughout, basically just so that we are receptive to it, and I guess we don't push back. Essentially, the faux it's a faux singularity. We're already born. It's singularity when we're born, singularity when we die. We're here, and your example of poking yourself with a knife, that's relative reality. It's not ultimate reality, but it is relative. Yes, correct. And that's about as far as it goes. It looks like Now, for some reason, we've lost our connection here. So stand by, folks. I'm not sure why this is the case. It says OBS is disconnecting, which I don't really think is happening at present. No, it's fine. Again, it shouldn't be doing anything too wonky or weird. Love that picture of I guess he's a lab, maybe golden retriever. Still have yet to be able to work out the distinction between those two, but what a beautiful dog. I'm guessing he's a lab. So smart dogs, who, yeah, I mean, I guess one of the little tricks to determining a dog's intelligence, actually, so the story goes, is you look at the roof of their mouths, and believe it or not, if they're dark, if they're you can see dark coloration or stains, like a blotching type phenomenon taking place at the roof of their mouths. That's an indication of their intelligence. I'm not sure if that equally applies to cats or not, but there you go, folks. So let's see if we can reconnect with. Oh, it looks like we got totally booted here. I'm not sure what's going on. We did have 15 minutes left on the meter. Remember JP Morgan? Yeah. Well, we really should, try to shift the focus to the Christmas end of things. And there's just so many moving parts, frankly. And just start by talking about making it clear how this is not in any way similar, or does it replicate or bear any resemblance to the Secret Santa as it is conventionally practiced in the West. I try to, in explaining this to the ESL Korean students I work with here, this being the deal, essentially, it's right off the top, as one might imagine. So rather, yeah, hang on a second there, Alan. We got you muted out there, but yes, that's correct. Talking about how this is in no way like the Secret Santa as it is conventionally practiced in the West. We've rebranded, we've remolded, we've expanded, and we've broadened the vision to say that, wait a minute, we can do more with this. It's not a Secret Santa, it's Operation Secret Santa, which is kind of cute. The way that acronym breaks down, I reckon, the OSS business, Alan, with a wink and a nudge. Some people get it. Others, it goes completely over their heads, of course, because it's just OSS, and that's as far as it goes, right? And they don't know anything more than that. But it, UNICEF, Salvation Army, Red Cross, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, all these top-heavy, bloated, bureaucratically oriented so-called like relief agencies and charities. What a farce, what a fraud. Look at this Turning Point USA that Charlie Kirk was. I guess he was the figurehead, I think, more than anything. I'm not sure what the deal was. It's just, the greed as well, too, which it's interesting because with us, it's totally inverse and the opposite of what so many other so-called charities or non-profit organizations practice. Why? Well, top of the list is because we do not solicit any direct donations. We don't want your money. What we want is for you to get up off the couch, if those of you it's within your means, and, because we are pretty selfish creatures, throughout most of the year. It's the one opportunity that we have, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a more secular oriented person, atheist, still reaching out, trying to uh, interest us, the satanic community to step forward, come out of the shadows and engage us here. I'm not sure. You think, well, they wouldn't be afraid, would they, Alan? It's to be pretty cowardly, spineless, but you'd hope
Yes,
that.
they would, because they can't survive in the light. The
I see.
satanic cannot survive in light. That's all.
I see. So it's like a vampire kind of deal, basically. Just, yeah. Well, that's the way it goes then, I guess. That's the way it works. So, and another thing, too, is I was thinking about this. I think I mentioned this the other night, is that their way of looking at it, as with Karl Marx, just heard about this the other day, and it's been in my mind at least, I've regarded him as someone very satanic. You want to say Luciferian or what have you. But I just heard the other day that he was all for having people starve, basically, and dying. And the reason he felt that was a benefit, it was a benefit to the whole long-term communist vision, essentially, that it would help to hasten the, I guess, the revolution of the proletariat, something to that effect, and that they would more quickly achieve their supposed communist end goals, having a lot of people starve and die. He thought that'd be really helpful. So similar to the satanic community, their way of looking at it is like, well, you know, if people are too weak and unfit, Charles Darwin, who actually was a plagiarist, I guess, and all these, like Einstein, supposedly too, stealing all of his ideas or having other people do all the work and then never giving credit to them. Stanley, Spider-Man and whatnot. It's like you find this time and again, and ultimately these things. Yeah, I guess it's like we were talking about there. The things that are hidden in darkness ultimately will be shown in the light. But yeah, Marx and the whole satanic trip. So, and I'm not sure, like if Nietzsche or whoever, Darwin once again, that just the weak, those who are unfit or unable to make it on their own, well, too bad for them. Just let them die. Don't reach out to them. It's like I guess, would you save a drowning man, or reach out to save a man or woman or anyone from drowning? Kind of deal. That famous question that some of us at least have heard a time or two. And I mean, why not? Of course. I mean, you could end up getting dragged down yourself, and I guess a lot of people have, because these people out there, they panic. They don't. They just panic for whatever reason. I guess the best thing would be to throw them a rope, lifeline of sorts. So, but here we are, nonetheless, whatever the case, and we're doing our best to stay the course. We'll maybe cue up a little bit of Christmas music, would be nice, I think, too. What are your thoughts regarding Christmas, Alan? I'm not sure if we talked about your memories already. Your views regarding. Well, let's hear a little bit more about the community charities that you have there locally in the Fort Collins region. Tracy was talking about somebody. She didn't go into much detail here, really, but I guess there's somebody in her
Well,
community.
we have multiple charities in this area.
Uh-huh.
We have multiple charities in this area. The center of those charities seems to be Denver, where the most call is. We also have severe problems in Loveland, but in Fort Collins, the homeless population is, even though they're on the street, they are supported by counselors. They have counselors that ride along with police and things like that. They're constantly on the watch for people that are physically in harm and in harm's way. Um, we also have counselors that ride with the ambulances here in town. And there's also from the homeless shelter here in town, or the homeless soup kitchen. There's several volunteers that go out on a regular basis and check on the homeless here. I was a member of the homeless here for a while, and I do know about these checks being made. So I'm very happy that at least in Larimer County, there is a lot of volunteers and things like that. Of course, during the Christmas season, these volunteers increase. But unfortunately, again, when it comes January and February at the worst of winter, some of this effort can wane. So, the idea of keeping that Christmas spirit and letting it go throughout the entire year is actually pretty important.
Absolutely. I mean, sure, that's something
You
that,
still with me?
yeah, can you hear me?
Okay.
Hello? We have a bit of a delay here, a bit of a lag. Can you hear me? One,
You're
two.
blanking out on me a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, in the meantime, we're going to load up the treasure chest. It looks like maybe, I'm not sure. Oh, hang on a second now. Gully Rat is over on D Live here, asking, not sure why he's not getting our notifications. Maybe his refresh will gain things. So there we go. That's
Yeah, he needs to unsub and resub to it.
on D
That's been
Live.
going on. There's on D Live, really. They're not getting
Oh
okay. I
yeah,
don't know about that, but
they pull
I
that
would I would do the same thing. I know that YouTube is bad.
they pull that same crap on YouTube, don't they? It's fucking ridiculous. And there's my complimentary F bomb of the evening. And I say that with great intent and passion, just to be clear. It's completely effing ridiculous. So, uh, speaking of which, this just reminded me of the way that profanity is increasing now on via the interwebs. Like Piers Morgan recently talking to Candace Owens and many others just throughout the course of their time appearing on air, that becoming quite impassioned and dropping the more than
Well,
the
Piers Morgan's been kind of called out for an absolute flake, hasn't he? I mean,
oh, they all are,
he's
man.
lost a
Patrick
very
Bet David,
major.
these people are all part, like, to one extent or the next, Operation Mockingbird 2.0, as Candace so rightly calls it, assets. Frankly, they are, and they are grifters.
Well, so is
They're very
Alex
capable.
Jones. We've known that for years. You
Well,
can accept
yeah,
what Alex Jones says, but as long
sure,
as he's bouncing around in the chair like a clown,
yeah,
nobody's ever going to listen to him.
right,
And the
right.
other thing, now Alex Jones actually created a huge network, a
Hmm.
lot of actual professional reporters, things like that.
Yeah,
But he did not allow it to become a network. He was so narcissistic
yeah.
that he sat there and kept his name at the top, denying everyone else's work. It was just all about him. That's one of the biggest tattletales about Alex Jones. Now, a lot of the information was true. The job that he had was to make it sound like it isn't, and he did a good job of it. He's still doing a good job of it.
Got to sign though. Be sure to sign off on those NDAs too before you are allowed to come on board. So we're just loading up the treasure chest here on D Live and it's interesting to watch. We have a handful of people connecting with us at present on D Live. Tracy, this might be this would be a really good place for you actually to launch a channel and promote your AI business essentially. The items, the product that you have to offer, and you could do a little bit of live streaming if you wanted, and have a lot of fun. I think it would really take off in a big way. This is what we saw happen with Reverend Jim, who we invited onto the show, and he's like surpassed us now, like just shot on up way past what we're doing here, as far as the numbers game is concerned. And part of it is because of the hard work that he's invested, just the effort and time that he's put into things. So do check out his show, Just Rev, over on D Live, folks. A mix of music, a lot of music, and pop culture, but also current events, hot issues, and a whole number of really great and profound items, areas that he often investigates and comments on and covers. So, geez, that's a weird look from Mr. Look at Mr. Nick Reiner. It's like he has some weird. I'm not sure if anyone can see that in a slideshow, but just man, this whole business of patricide, I think is what they're calling it, patricide, killing of the father. Father, I want to kill you. Mother, I want to beep you. This is the end. Morrison. Oh God. But it's a great song. It's a great song. There's no taking that away from him. He knew what he was talking about. Very, very poetic. Dark romantic is the best way that I've heard it put as far as he was concerned. But the thing about it, with thinking about it, I think really when it comes right down to it, with all the fuss that's being made over a child killing their parents, presumably, this isn't yet to be proven, but you could maybe have a self-defense, that could be his, that he'll go into court with, trying to police act in self-defense, or who knows what the deal is. But parents have, I think, by far been, down through history, more responsible for killing their children than the other way around. Almost guaranteed. Almost most certainly. So could be wrong, but hey, there's Van Morrison's latest release. It's coming out here quite shortly. Somebody tried to sell me a bridge. All right. How about that, eh? So I met Van Morrison actually back in the day, and I've talked about here.
Really?
Oh yeah, I've talked about it here a couple times in great length. We're not going to get into it right now. We'll save it for the regular course of things, throughout when we live stream back, come the new year, of course. So but yeah, okay, so we loaded up the treasure chest. There's only a handful of people there, and we're going to distribute the rewards. We don't really care. Like, what the hell? Holy jeez. It's like over 50 diamonds. Who's going to claim them? I don't know. We had Roger Hansen last night, and gosh, there were 3 people that cashed in and all at the same time. So, and I'm not sure, it's going really kind of wonky what they're doing there with D Live and the manipulation of the digital currency, as you can imagine. The way that they're totally messing with things. But it used to be back in the day that diamonds, like lemons, I don't know how many, I think it was 100 lemons and you got a diamond. And now they have it. Okay, so nobody picked up on that one. That's fine. Oh, we're up to six people now, so that's good. We got a few more people kind of wandering in. We'll load up the treasure chest here. Start. I'll tell you what. ask us to load up the treasure chest here in the comments section, and we will readily accommodate you. For anyone out there who can hear us right now and is logged into D Live, whether Gully Rat or Roger Hansen, Rev Jim, whatever the case may happen to be. So we got to get this Christmas music going now. People in need. Stephanie Wilcox, Tracy, if you're still there with us. And she's out of New York, and we're pledging some support. We've got $50 coming your way as well. That's that was the
Really
word.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, that we got our funds are rapidly being depleted. I'm not sure how much longer we're going to be able to sustain ourselves here on this end before we have to close up shop. So, now you see them, now you don't, is what really could be the case ultimately, unfortunately. But we'll see what we can do, whatever the case may be. And Yvonne Malfont, out of the Lower Mainland, Coquitlam region of the Lower Mainland, and just outside the outskirts of, I guess, Vancouver Central, as it were, Vancouver, British Columbia, $25. So those are two. Stephanie, well, there's a three. Yourself, Alan, Stephanie Wilcox and her family, and then Yvonne Malfont, who drops in. He actually runs what he pays for rent there is just, it's out of this world. And so small wonder that he may struggle from time to time. He busks. He does some street busking, and his wife, I'm not sure if she's still in the music, teaching music lessons or what the deal is. She's quite skilled when it comes to piano. So it's not easy for people these days to make ends meet. Thank God we just are working on bouncing back a little bit here financially. You wouldn't believe how tight things were for man, that whole scamdemic crap, that whole fiasco, man. These bastards, the way they.
Hey, listen, take a look at how many different things that we have starting. It doesn't start with 9/11, but 9/11 claiming that thermite can't cut metal, except we've been using it since the 1800s in order to cut and weld metal on the railroad. And then we have the Mythbusters coming out. Oh, well, it can't cut metal. Things like that. We have all the Navy SEALs that have ever graduated that knows that thermite can cut metal. They use it for underwater demolition. But now suddenly, because the government is inconvenient, it can't cut metal. Then we have the Charlie Kirk thing where you could actually see his entire skull deform prior to the exit wound in his neck, meaning that he was shot from above and slightly behind. Okay. In addition to that, in the video, I have an actual video. It shows the drone leaving at high speed directly after the shot. It's using a 30-06 that would have left nothing more than a pink plume remaining of his head if he was shot by it. So no, the nonsense that these people are allowing, whether it be on the news or in legal, are just, the people are just walking away from it. And how many examples do we have? Forget about Atlas. Well, wait a minute. Atlas is just the newest one. So we have this attack on common sense that has been very effective. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know if we'll ever be able to straighten it out. Just simply because now we have AI. AI can produce things that are so realistic that it really does take an expert or another AI to detect it. And one of the things that you can use in order to detect it is, well, joints, the joints in the human body. If the joint suddenly or a finger disappears, you have to slow it down. You'll be able to see that when something passes behind something else, it doesn't know what to do with it. And that's going to be cleaned up. But here's the real revelation. We have had this advanced AI in order to create videos, okay, since the 80s. Since the 80s, this technology has been around. It's just simply finally made its way into the civilian market, exposing everything that's happened since the 80s. Isn't that interesting?
How does that work again? What's been around since the 80s, and what's then recently on top of that
The
come to
advanced
light?
AI that we're looking at, the video manipulation, even though it may have been slower, even though it may have taken, a larger computer than our desktop, okay, it has been around since the 80s. 9/11, we can show video manipulation on 9/11, where an airplane is fully intact as it comes 10 to 15 feet out of the building. The nose of the airplane can be seen. All you got to do is to slow it down. That is all CGI. The other limited views of that, and you have to remember, New York has more surveillance cameras than you can than buildings. I mean, everyone has a surveillance camera, and yet we only have about 6 or 7 views of the tower. How? Well, because they cleaned all of the real documentation out and replaced it with CGI. And again, this here is seen over and over again. We cannot trust anything that we see now.
Mm-hmm.
It used to be that we could take things like the moon landing and, oh, look, there's a problem here. The shadows don't match up, or other things that are tattletales of actual manipulation. Now that we have AI, nothing can be traced. Nothing.
Yeah, that's so true, and as if it wasn't bad enough already years ago, as you've kind of alluded to. It's so that's great. I think the likes of ourselves and many of our listeners, we kind of get it. So we have this hyper vigilant skepticism, or skeptical position that we come at things from, however you want to, uh, whatever term it is or catchphrase in the way of referring to that. It is what it is. But a lot of other people can more easily be duped, it seems, by just kind of jumping the gun or falsely assuming things, which I'm constantly talking to the wife about here, just reminding her that assumptions are fine, provided that they're accurate assumptions. But if not, if you're making a false assumption, you can end up causing a lot of harm, actually, to the point where people end up losing their lives, in very, very quite quickly, no hesitation whatsoever, depending on the situation, obviously. So whether you're forced to either act quickly, act fast, or whatever the situation or context might be. So great stuff there, Alan. But once again, I'm just trying to think of how we can, as we're queuing up the music, kind of, I'm not sure if you say steer things back necessarily, but
I got one way of steering things back. Support
uh-huh.
independent broadcasting. Support
Oh,
it.
right.
Absolutely. We need to build a network as large as CNN. And you want to know something? CNN is not that big. They just simply have distribution. That's it. They are not that large of an organization.
I think,
They don't
yeah.
have that big of a budget, and
Uh-huh.
their listenership is so low. I mean, it used to be they used to have every single cable channel, et cetera, so forth. After 9/11, they dominated. Now they're lesser than Alex Jones. I mean,
Oh
literally,
yeah.
they're lesser than Alex
Oh
Jones, but they're
sure.
still the mainstream media.
Well, they the
All the
whole
politicians listen. All the politicians jump on the bandwagon, and we just need to stop it by distribution.
they've shot themselves in the foot, really with the credibility factor. I think for me, it was the 2016 election that did it, in the way that they were almost in unison stating that it's Hillary Clinton. It's gonna be Hillary Clinton. It's really looking good for Hillary here. 95% chance, or more that there's no possible. It doesn't look good for Trump here. It's just does not look good. And lo and behold, what do we find? Coming out of that, it's quite the opposite. So I think that was really with their assessment uh, of things, where things are at, politically, and getting somewhat off topic here, obviously, but just there's countless examples of what they've done in playing a central part to the whole mind control agenda. Government itself, the terms meaning exactly that, mind control, governmente. And the question I constantly come back to and asking myself is, well, who controls your mind? If not you, then who or what? So, but right now it's Christmas, of course. So we're trying, I guess, if you want to kind of point the finger of blame, mind control. It's us, folks. We plead, you caught us. We plead. What more can we really say? It's Christmas time, for crying out loud. So, um, we're doing the job that so many others. This is where I'm a little disappointed, actually, and it's quite shocking, to tell you the truth. Jordan Peterson, Tim Pool, I've lost so much respect for over the last short while. Really, hearing about him meeting, like rubbing shoulders with Netanyahu directly, among others, with these Chatham House rules in place, as they're known, where you are in a sort of like a Bohemian Grove type setting, or Davos World Economic Forum setting, and you essentially uh, offer, promise, your guarantee, give your word that you will not breathe a single word of what has taken place during the course of your meeting uh, on the outside. When you step outside, there's what goes down in Davos stays in Davos, kind of thing. Especially when, yeah, you got the Chatham House rules in place, and Netanyahu on hand. So, but the likes of these people, the really high profile social media folks, why aren't they doing the same? Is my question. Take a bit of a break from the political circus and theater, uh, or have someone that you can take under your wing and bring on as an underling sort of affiliate, an intern, and let them work on handling things as far as the Christmas content and streaming is concerned. Think of what the good that Candace Owens could do with her reach, if she was, she could stick and stay the course politically and fighting the good fight there out on the front lines, as it were, calling the bastards out. Well, because of her Christian devotion in particular, And you don't even have to be Christian. Once again, you can very secular, not a problem. Clearly, it's the one time of year where you can once again stop being such a selfish sob and start thinking and ultimately doing something, even just a little, for somebody else, even just the smallest little gesture. You know, this time of year, of course, Stephen, and Stephen Crowd. There's so many of these phony baloney, Christian, self-identify as Christian type characters. Tucker Carlson, I'm not gonna really, I'm not gonna say too many things critical of him, frankly. I think Steven Crowder could be doing a little more, though. Definitely, he's got, once again, the resources at his disposal, the wherewithal, and he could have like an intern or someone that he would take under his wing, and have on just as a side project, like a affiliate or sub affiliate, working via a tier down, essentially, from where he stands, and with his operations, as he, once again, as with Canada, stays the course and putting out the sort of the quality of content that he's best known for, while the seasonal Christmas campaign rolls along, and people can choose whether they can do both, obviously, but maybe not live. I guess you'd have to flip back and forth between them, one show or one stream from the next. Um, but I think that would work out quite well. And I don't think anyone they've ever been pitched the idea or heard of such a thing, or maybe I don't even, probably not even crossed their mind. But it is disappointing. It is disappointing to see that they put all this work and energy into just one thing and one thing only. And what do they do for charity is my question, if anything. Tim Pool, Jordan Peterson, Alex, all these others, the women as well. Candace, I think her heart's in the right place. Maybe some of them probably, hopefully, go about doing these things quietly. Tucker was recently in Qatar, as we mentioned on the show the other night, and we could have added that to some of the content that we brought on board here, as far as what had been ripped via the interwebs, even though it is getting more difficult to do because YouTube now won't let us download anything that they have at all across their platform.
I've got that. I've got a YouTube downloader. I'm finishing up this weekend, creating an install shield for. Works beautifully. It's one of the fastest ones that are out there. And get this,
Wow.
it's under 50 megabytes big, so it's very lightweight, very quick. You can download up to 3 videos at one time, so it doesn't destroy your um, bandwidth or anything. And then anything else that is in the queue, if you maybe put 10 of them in the queue, it'll just simply keep going, but it won't download any more than 3 at one time. I have been downloading like 150, 200 megabytes in less than a minute and a half. It is extremely fast. So I'm
Excellent.
looking forward to releasing that, and I'm going to send you a copy of it as soon as it's done. I'm hoping that everybody uses it.
That is far out,
It's
man.
absolutely,
Have you
yeah, it's something I'm giving for Christmas.
well, thank you so much. That's beautiful and brilliant, and it's just without getting into great detail, because time is of the essence here, and I think we've pretty much we've overshot the mark already. In fact, we should have been done. Well, this is about where we should be wrapping up. But your father was quite a he was among being a high I don't know if you say high degree Freemason. Uh, although, how high does it really go? I've heard 360 degrees, like it's a full circle, right?
Yeah, I believe that is the right number.
Yeah.
It again comes back to geometry and stuff like that. 33 degrees is the ranking in height, and then every degree after that is the same thing as going out and getting another PhD for something.
Huh.
So at least that's what it appears to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Mason, so I can't exactly
Yeah.
tell you what
Oh.
their hierarchy is,
Mm-hmm.
but there
Well.
is a lot more than 33 degrees. And I actually communicated with somebody that was in the 50-degree area, but he was also above 30 in both red and blue, which is extremely rare for the Masons. And he was located at the English main what do they call that temple? Okay, the main one in England.
Oh,
He
the
was
Grand the
actually I
Grand Lodge
actually had
of
the privilege.
the Grand Lodge of
I
England,
had the
probably.
privilege of talking to him for a couple
Uh-huh.
of years. Yeah.
Oh yeah, far out. So, but I think we definitely have a delay because I'm hearing a delay echo of my voice. It's so that's why we got to watch out and careful with talking over one another. Just it can be a little tricky at times. So, comments here, Zane Ivy. We're seeing a lot of stragglers too and lurkers. So please do log in, folks. Do log in. Alluding to the Canada and the assisted suicide, where government harvests and sells people's organs. Wow. Incredible. Sacre bleu.
Oh, it
These
gets worse than that.
bastards.
It gets so much worse than that.
Uh-huh.
In Canada, if you are a 9-year-old child and you go to your school, they will help you kill yourself
I can believe it. No, I
and not
can.
even
Yeah.
tell the parents.
Yeah, I can help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can
No,
believe it.
that's a
Yeah.
new.
Yeah, yeah. So look,
I,
we've
I,
got hang on a second now, Christmas. Just to finish up here, plus they've done a study, says Tracy, that that death isn't actually pain-free or comfortable. It's so sad. Well, in addition to that, death is not the end. So I think that's Bob Dylan line. It is one of his songs. I'm not sure if he was the first one who wrote came up with that or not, but it's a great tune. Death is not the end. And on uh in that vein, uh we essentially just raise the issue of whether or not she's investigated or studied NDEs, near death experiences. So this phenomenon to me is highly profound, and it's brilliant. And you know what, folks, it's it it offers good news. That this is what the gospel means, I guess. They talk about it's the gospel means the good news. So I think this is one of the things that Christ himself was aware of, just very clearly aware. It's like, well, we're just passing through here, man. This is a very temporary state. It's where we find the realm we currently find ourselves situated. There's Tracy, by the way, or at least an AI version, kind of, I guess. Don't take this the wrong way, Tracy, but like an improved, kind of upgraded version, more ideal, I suppose. Like just knockout gorgeous. And I'm looking. I mean, she's really beautiful as it is, obviously, but then looking at this, thinking like, wait a minute, what has she done with? She hasn't done like is this plastic surgery, or is it the makeup that's doing this, or what? So, hey, Bruce, looks like somebody's having fun. So, I imagine I never met Springsteen in person, but I did catch a couple of his shows back in the day. One in Tacoma during the Tunnel of Love tour, and another where in Vancouver I took my girlfriend at the time, Jane, who was a musician herself. I'm not gonna. I won't say her last name. out of respect for her privacy. Hang on a second while I. Oh God, this toddy ain't hot no more. We'll tell you that much. My God, this cool toddy. Now, Tracy, you got to tell me, who is this new man in your life? Because you're really messing not just with me, but I'm sure a lot of people that are paying attention and trying to pick up on what the story is here behind the scenes. Is that an actual shot of your boys? And this, is that dog real? Well, what have you done there? And it's a great picture. That's why we added it, clearly. And that I had to add that. I mean, I'm not sure if she sent it or he just ripped it off of her Facebook photos or what exactly. There's something a little more true to life. Just a beautiful young family. So at home single mama, yeah, yeah. I'm not sure what that is, but it's great. It's a great Christmas theme. So we got to hear more about your dog. What would you say that is there, Alan? Is it kind of Rottweiler pit bull cross sort of deal, mixed breed?
I don't see any photos or anything at my end.
Oh, you're not watching the slideshow?
No, the only thing I see is your picture.
Let's see. No, it should be the slideshow is rotating here. So, but anyways, bloody hell, totally distracted and unable to get the music going. So watch your ears. Oh, geez, we're gonna be back in less than well, it's a little under 12 hours now, folks. That's what we're looking at. It's 11 and a half, if you want to be precise. And that way, of course, we can work on connecting with our friends, family, coworkers, and whatnot from around the world on a schedule which is a little more compatible uh, with their typical routine. Here goes the VLC again, wonking out. Shut that down as soon as we can. So it just started doing that not so long ago. I don't know why that's the case, but anyways, uh, just a few last words in closing. Then we'll cue up the music and then maybe transition into some Christmas themed videos that we have in store here. Maybe a song. I was kind of going over them before we kick things off here tonight, and I'm not sure if there's really any of them suit are my optimal key, as it were, matching my voice, but I have to get kind of creative with that whole business. So you, speaking of which, you create AI music yourself, don't you? Some pretty good high quality
I do have
stuff.
some AI music that I've made, but
Hmm.
it's not entirely AI. I created the arrangements and things like that. I used AI the same way you would use a studio band and come up with an album. Yes, it's wonderful. It's a House of Mirrors. You can look that up. YouTube. I've got it posted over there if you want to look that up. And I have more coming for that. These are lyrics I've worked on since I was like a kid. I
Huh.
mean, I literally a kid. When I was 14, 15, I found
Oh,
a book that I had written back then in my stuff, and I started pulling out the lyrics that I had created then. So
that is so cool, man. That
partly AI.
that. Pardon me. Are
It's
you?
partly AI,
Oh,
but
I
it is not
see.
entirely AI.
I gotcha. Well,
I'm
that.
also an
Yeah.
author. I have a couple of books online. One of them is War Torrent. It's about time travel. It is science fiction, but it has a lot of science fact built into it as well. We also have the laboratory or the lab in experiment and entertainment, which is more modern, more today. And I have a couple other projects I'm working on for stories and things like that. We have story time on YouTube, Rumble, on Home Network that have a lot of AI, science fiction and stuff like that. And it's also my work is also featured there as well. You can tune in there. So yeah, I mean, we have a lot going on for that.
That's really great, man. That's just fabulous. And what you're doing here as well, I guess what you've told us is you're offering, donating uh, some software, I guess, something you've coded. It's a program where you're.
It's my gift to the world this year. Yeah, it's my gift to the world. I have been so frustrated as a broadcaster, editing, doing things like that. I don't want to depend on AI in order to create these things because I'm talking about some very serious subjects. I don't need pretending to be in there. So I have to download a lot of things like that, old videos such as moonlighting in order to make my videos, and it takes so long, and they're charging anywhere from $5 to $20 a month for a decent downloader. And I got so frustrated I started to make my own broadcasting tools, beginning with the downloader, because that's where you begin when you start editing, right? So I have a player that is coming out that you'll be able to actually play directly from the website. You don't need to download anything. And it'll sit there and select, and you can play using the cloud instead of having to download and everything. So this is a project I've been working on for about 6 months, and it's finally coming to fruition. I've actually got results, and I decided, since it's Christmas, I decided to make the downloader absolutely free for everybody. It's called the Pulse Tools Downloader, and it should be available soon. I'll be sending it out to all the broadcasters and stuff that I know soon.
Oh, really looking forward to that. It's some pretty exciting news for sure because that's perfect timing. I've got this. I guess there's a downside to it though as well. Just given the fact of how distracting the collection of this endless data can be. I've got these, or I should say, we have these the digital storage devices, 4 terabytes typically, and between archive.org, YouTube, and the torrents that we access, as you might imagine, it doesn't take too long for any of them to fill up. 4 terabytes, right? Just it's a bit of a problem. I fully admit, like I am. It's an addiction actually, and it's I got it could be worse in the way that some, for example, like Korean gamers, kids, teenagers, and the like, that they overdo it to the point of where they're pulling multiple all nighters up 3, 4, or even more nights in a row, and just there's been numerous deaths reported over the years because of the way that they've just really overdone it in a big way. So thankfully my issues are nowhere near as bad, but uh yeah, addictions are, it is what it is, right? So there you go. Yeah. Alan, you were going to say something?
Oh, I just want to follow up with the fact that I do appreciate being on your show today. You've done a wonderful job, and you're very consistent, and I just wanted to mention that as well.
Thank you, man. And of course, a picture of Angel Espino, someone that we were hoping to support this year, once again, or at least considering supporting, um, because of the health conditions that he is presently having to contend with, and we have done that in the past, actually. Which is interesting because like when his mother passed away was one time, one instance, and there's been others too where we've sent them a few dollars here and there. Really is, you know, it's really interesting just the way some people are. Maybe I'm that way too myself here. Ooh, we're getting some hearts from somebody. Who could that possibly be? I really don't know. But um, yeah, it's one of those things where I don't really expect too much. Just a thank you. Just a thank you is all that's really needed, and that's good enough. Anytime that I either kind of, I don't know if you say secretly, but just in a kind of quiet way, go about helping people out, without necessarily having to broadcast it to the whole world. Unfortunately, because of the position we're in here, there's very we don't really have much choice. Uh, it would seem we could disguise our voices, I suppose. That'd be one way of doing it, and you know, our parents on camera as well. So, but yeah, just a thank you is all that I really I I don't know if you even say expect, but you would hope that would be the something that people on the receiving end would be capable of uh, offering in return for people's generosity. Anyone out there, of course. So, but anyways, the campaign continues, and let's see what's going on here. Well, a lot of comments coming our way via the Facebook end of things. And Angle Christian La Terreur, good to see you dropping by and lending a little support. Speaking of Facebook, be sure to don't be shy in logging in, or even calling in perhaps at some point. Christian, hopefully before the campaign wraps up. Be great to hear from you via. Actually, he's Alberta, so it is a little early for him right now, but originally from Quebec, Canada, and we're up to 100 pages now as well with the audiobook version of what he's put together, the Montauk experience out of Camp Hero that that he writes about, of course, very personal, very direct, and really just quite. I don't know how to put it exactly, but geez, there were young there. I think you were mentioning young people losing their lives. What was it? Yeah, I guess this kind of dovetails with what you alluded to earlier in Canada with young people and the MAID program. Well, this is almost this is somewhere in that territory, uh, and sphere essentially, where you've got young people being recruited into the MK Ultra program. At least they were, they probably still are, if truth be told, under a new name or auspices, whatever the situation may be. But yeah, he attended, it was Montauk, New York, Camp Hero, and we're up to about 100 pages altogether. And we've got to be working on. Actually, we've got it all finished. This is a question now of stringing it together, patching it together, and smoothing it out. And it it'll probably run, I'm guessing, the better part of an hour, actually. So, and we wanted to make it good as best we could manage, So it is worth listening to. It's not the most polished and professional audiobook that's ever been recorded, but we'll see what the critics have to say. How brutal or harsh they are, or maybe just gushing with praise. I have no idea. So, but the point is that he gets what he asked us to do in support of him, and the people, the young people who they were there, part of that program, and they either, or some of them still with us today, but many of them not, for one reason or the next. They're gone all too soon. You had something you wanted to say, Alan?
I'm going to send you a link to the playlist for House of Mirrors. If you want to play it, you can.
Yeah, we'll get on top of that maybe for tomorrow's show is concerned. Stephanie, thank you, Stephanie Wilcox. Appreciate everything you do, as well as all involved. Thank you. Well, thank you, Stephanie, and we'd love to have you join us, along with potentially Tracy Joy at the same time. Few people we'd like to get Tracy in touch with. Well, actually, and Stephanie, come to think of it, New York, Robert Morningstar is based out of New York. So we need to kind of zero in where it is exactly in the state that you call home. You can kind of keep that on the lowdown if you want, and we'll keep that off the record. That I think that might be the best way of doing it. It's, it's New York State, and but when in conversing with Robert, I can give him the particulars and see if he has any connections, any friends in the area who potentially could show up at your house with.
Would you like to hear one of the songs that I made? I've got it queued up here.
Not right now, actually. I think we tried this before. It didn't work out too well. To send us the link, and we will we'll rip, like, we can rip off of other sites. It's just YouTube is the only one, right? So if it's on BitChute or Rumble or anything other than YouTube, fine. They're just total jerks, those people, and they don't like us, clearly. So, issuing that strike for the third year in a row, where they shut us down right at the start of our campaign. And now this is unprecedented. They won't even, it's like the video download helper tool. I'm not. Have you ever seen with the three colors, like the circles? I think it's like yellow, blue, and red, or something like that. So, and it's their little icon they work with. But just to finish what I was saying, that somebody could potentially, with Robert's help, because I'm trying to think who else we have connections in New York, that he could reach out more easily, and we could potentially have someone, if they were so willing, these angels in human form, show up at your door, or at a convenient, agreed upon safe space, as it were, like a park, or whatever, like a shopping mall parking lot. Who just use your imagination, right? So with food, clothing, medical items of various sorts, things to help out with sanitation, as far as, well, towels and toilet paper, toothpaste, all that kind of good stuff, gloves, of course, you name it. Just hopefully, see them go get wild and go creative. Another thing too, let's not forget, jobs, folks. There's no reason that our Secret Santa sponsors cannot work on coming up with jobs, potentially matching people. Say they know how to make do you call them baristas, Alan? I think, is that what they're known as here in Korea, working in coffee shops, I guess. The baristas making coffee. So someone's unemployed, single mother, maybe the father's either passed away or they've had marital issues. She's got the kids, two of them, maybe he has one, or whatever the scenario is, but she's struggling. This is an example. Could be a man too, let's not forget. We're trying to discriminate here by any means. It's just up to the Secret Santa to determine who's worthy. and maybe some people are not so much, able to fall into that category, as it were, as far as their subjective line of thinking is concerned. But say they're a barista, coffee maker, that if the Secret Santa themselves know of someone they have a friend maybe who has a coffee shop and store where they brew fresh coffee, or it could be anything. People just work with a cash register, or cleaning services, or just there's a lot of jobs that need to be filled out there, obviously. So but there you go. It's just a sort of ad hoc, can do sort of problem solving approach and strategy. So if that's what they're looking for, and then it's some real Christmas magic that we're able to conjure here with people coming together, obviously, and making bringing about the solutions, and doing what needs to be done in order to ultimately reduce the suffering in people's lives. Because if there's one thing that this world has more than its fair share of, it's suffering in all its various forms and degrees, whether physical, spiritual, mental, you name it. So there we go. I'm willing to work with any ideas you have, says Stephanie. Oh, that's great. And well, yeah, later tonight. That's right. So we're going to be kicking this off in about a little less, well, like 11 hours and 15 minutes, if you really want to know. If I think I've got my math down here, so I got to get to bed. And I think maybe that'll probably be about it for this this edition of 2025's Operation Secret Santa, hashtag OSS 2025. Thank you to everyone. So people that joined in and had comments to offer. And Tracy Joy, it'd be really great if you could connect with Sonia out of Phoenix, because she's an AI I would say aficionado, but she's a student of AI as well, and she's been practicing and working on putting like, for example, some of our merchandise designs have come to to her through through that means, and it's some really great ideas that she's produced. Yes, Alan. Sounds
I
like
just sent you the playlist for House of Mirrors. I just sent you the playlist for House of Mirrors. If you play the last one there, it's, I think, one of the better songs.
Okay, what's it called?
You can tell by the weight of the sound.
It's called Weight of the Sound?
Mm-hmm. In other words, you can tell by their work. When they talk gibberish, you know it.
That's right. Tracy Joy here saying, thank you for your efforts reaching to your pockets. You're consistent, like Alan says, and we all appreciate your hard work. Well, thank you, Tracy. That's really sweet. And, it's because of people like you and Stephanie and everyone, Alan, that we're here. And, we're here just to celebrate Christmas as well, and to search for the spirit, ultimately the meaning of Christmas, which, as far as I've been able to determine, comes down really quite ultimately to this us serving in the capacity of keepers of the sacred flame, as the way I look at it. Keepers of the sacred flame, and thinking about how if the spark or flame in ancient times was to be lost, that would be a bit of a problem in the middle of winter, especially. Not sure about summertime. More wanting to focus on ice and refrigeration, probably, right? But winter, yeah, got to stay warm and got to do what it takes to keep our hearts warm, our bodies warm, I guess our souls too. Uh, there's just so much. It's pretty deep and profound, it would seem, and it's a beautiful time of year. I've always been uh, almost always really found myself drawn into the spirit of Christmas, or perhaps you could say it enters. I find it occupying me. That is one way or the other. It's something either that's coming in or going out, I suppose. So, Alan, one last comment from you, and I think we're gonna call it a day. Go ahead.
Yeah, you bet. I am working on the downloader still. I still have to make a install shield for it. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that by the end of the day. If not, by the end of the weekend, and I'll be sending that to you. You can also check out House of Mirrors. Look up House of Mirrors on YouTube and check out that music and leave your comments on that. Other than that, I've had a really good time today.
Sure. Yeah.
So I
It's yeah.
appreciate again being with you and
Yeah. Well, and thank you for lending your support as a wingman. It's a tough time. The time slot, obviously. We called up. We had John on the horn here briefly. John Gall of Censorship Sucks, and as with Angel a few years ago, it was like we'd roused a hibernating bear. It didn't sound like he was overly pleased. So we removed him from the group. We didn't want that to happen again, as far as any mistaken uh calls going out to him or anyone else. And that's the thing. We got about 20 people in the main teams, formerly Skype group. So if anyone does want to be taken out, although I tell you, the main issue right now is like I said, like we're talking about here, it's the time where we find ourselves live streaming at this ungodly hour. It's just because of my work schedule is the reason why we have to do it. But it's just really great to see it. Stephanie, Tracy, and handful of others here in real live time, or they're early risers. Alan, yourself, Christian Laterre. We've got we don't get enough time to bop around here and check out what's happening via social media. David Hughes, Robert Sandage, as well via Facebook. Haven't really taken the time to look at Twitter, but that's always, there's people that do engage us over there, as you can imagine, and it's really great to have them on board as well. As we have our baby cat, little mischievous little bugger, Mandu. He's kangarooing me. If anyone's ever heard that, Mandu, settle down, settle down. Oh God. Does everybody know how cats, they kangaroo people sometimes? They get the feet going, and you got to be careful with overstimulating them, So, by the way, any cat lovers out there, here's the real value-added content coming your way now, people. Jackson Galaxy, My Cat from Hell. That's check that out. It is a gas. It's really great. It's a lot of fun, and very, very educational. You learn a lot about cats, and he's a behavioralist, and he goes in, and there's not a single cat that they've ever had to put down, even though it was looking like that at the time. And he comes in. It just goes to show that there's, where there's a will, there's a way. But you bring in a professional, someone that knows what they're talking about, and they're able to put these things into action, that once again, problems can be solved, hurdles overcome. So, but that about does it for us here, folks. We're gonna fade out right now and work on queuing up the.
Finish with the beginning of that song.
What are you talking about?
I sent it to you in the chat. It's the
Oh,
last song in the playlist.
yeah.
Finish with that song. It'll be
Whoops.
a great one. You'll love it.
Hang on a second here. Finish with that song. Okay. You're saying, let's see now, House of Mirrors, and the play on the playlist. There's a playlist here. It
Yeah,
looks like.
playlist. It's the last song. It's called "Way to the Sound."
Okay, we can do that. And then we actually we won't be exactly finishing with that because we're gonna, as we traditionally do, queue up what John Edmonds the fourth out of News Eyes on New Jersey News had to send us here a couple days. He was, did I say a couple days? A couple years ago, he was decent enough, kind enough to, nice guys. Speaking of kindness, they do finish last. So it's something, but he was decent, kind enough to produce and put together a bit of a promo blurb that we've been using pretty much ever since. So let's take a look at this. Is it even going to load? Well, we've lost our D Live, as has been the case here now for, some time. Jeez. Video can't play because the file is corrupt. The hell are you talking about?
What?
This is, oh no, this is over on Restream. It's just it does this. It's only started since we're still getting comments, but it's the Restream is acting up. You know what's interesting too is we stopped paying these people. It's like $60 a year basically. So I don't know. Maybe we've only got one. I think we have Facebook that we have set up through Restream currently. The rest is all off of Beam Stream, something that Mark via Drigas Productions turned us on to. So you just take it as it comes, sort of deal. So let's see. Hang on a second. What is going on here? She is talking about Stephanie. Lunchtime here in New York. Good night, Jaffe. Thank you. We have a large Maine Coon mix. What the heck is that? Is that a raccoon? Large Maine Coon mix? Our daughter's allergic. However, her husband couldn't help but bring her in when she showed up at her doorstep. Many years ago, we believe she was abandoned on a road in Tennessee when we lived there. Said she has PTSD like him. She just loves her. YouTube's still up, a little choppy today, is what Stephanie's saying. So yeah, that's unfortunate. Really, it's great that you're over on Facebook though. So it's the first time that YouTube's actually been up at any point now over the course of the campaign. So because of that, the way that they, true to form, had to mess around with us third year in a row, right before we were getting, the campaign here, Operation Secret Santa off and run. So we're going to shut that down. Way to the sound, I believe, is what he's asking for. Now, this could be a little choppy too. So I'm not sure. This might mess up. The sound quality here might be a little goofy. I don't know how Christmassy this is. Usually we don't go into things like this blind, but because Alan he's an eager beaver, and he wants the world to hear this. So, an interesting playlist. It's taking some time to load. Alright. Yeah, blues, heavy blues rock there, everybody.
Every hand leaves a mark. Every stone shapes the ground. You can tell who they are by the weight of the sound. Every hand leaves a mark. Every stone shapes the ground. You can tell who they are by the weight of the sound. Every hand leaves a mark. Every stone shapes the ground. You can tell who they are by the weight of the sound. Now a gritty, almost spoken melody. Some built towers, some dig graves. Some plant seeds, some set flames. Every motion leaves a trail. Every action tips the scale. Are you building it up or tearing it down? Lay the bricks or light the town. Every word, every sound, it's in the wreckage, it's in the ground. Are you building it up or tearing it down? Lay the bricks or light the town. Every word, every sound, it's in the wreckage, it's in the ground. Now with raw emotion, half sung, half spaz, some make weapons, some make peace. Some hold torches, some bring keys. All these roads, all these hands, but the fire don't understand. Step by step.
Holiday season? Do your part in helping out those in need. You might want to consider getting involved on some level with Operation Secret Santa. Here's a quick overview. Formally kicking off on December 15th, Operation Secret Santa, that's hashtag OSS, is a world grassroots, strictly people-driven, Christmas charity, telethon-styled internet campaign. Referral marketing, or what's otherwise known as word of mouth, drives